Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 89 of my little gaming show where once a week I just has to talk about video games, old video games that I grew up with, new video games that I'm playing today. It doesn't matter. Video games. You like video games, you're going to have a good time right here. So today, I'm finally getting to my review of Yakuza Like a Dragon or Yakuza 7. There are a lot of Yakuza games, but this is the first one where they shifted it into a RPG style, and so this is my second Yakuza game. I played one of the kind of, brawler, not run and gun, I can't even think of the name, fighter, action brawler. Every word that is coming to my mind is incorrect, not quite the one. Beat 'em up, there it is, that's it, beat 'em up style and RPG style. So I played one of each now, and I will decide which one I prefer better. And yeah, but before we get into the review of Yakuza 7, let's talk about what I have been up to over the last week or so. And I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, what have you been up to over the last week or so? What games have you been diving into? What TV shows are you binge watching right now? Did you check out the Fallout TV show? Did you check out the new the Knuckles show that came out? What the heck? I'm so far behind on that Sonic stuff. Like, I haven't even watched the first movie yet. And speaking of movies, what movies have you seen lately? Anything good? Anything bad? It doesn't matter. Just throw it out there. You never know. A good recommendation never hurts. So, I will throw out my not really a recommendation, but I'll let you know what I've been up to over the last week or so, and it's been a pretty good week for me. I got some stuff in, so of course, got the Survivor in with my wife. We're still slaughtering that show. We're getting close to the end of the Survivor binge, but we finished off Survivor 42. It was good, it was very similar to 41. It was the exact same style. They filmed them back to back, so it was the same thing, just different people, so it was still good. I think I like the people better in this season than last one, but yeah, another good season of Survivor. We slide into Survivor 43 now, and it's just more Survivor, baby. Just more good people, good group of characters so far. Loving it. And we got some finales to talk about. Let's start with a Shogun finale. Okay, so a friend of mine at work dropped a little nugget, didn't spoil anything, but he said, because he's read the story that this is based off and all that stuff, and he was like, well, the finale may make you go, huh. And it kind of did, like, not in a negative way, but it wasn't like what you would expect out of a finale. Like, it wasn't just over-the-top crazy action. Like, it was very good. It was still very, very good. Tied up some stuff really nicely. The ending of episode 9 was like, damn. And yeah, that was the fallout of that happening into the final episode. And yeah, it wasn't as amazing as I wanted it to be. Like, I was really expecting like a big battle. Like, yeah, I wanted a big fight, and we didn't really get that. It's definitely more politically driven of a show, like the behind-the-scenes political stuff more so than, like, samurais battling each other. So if that's what you're looking for out of Shogun, that's not really what it's going to give you. There are some fights, sure, but that's not, like, what it's all about. If you want something like that, I don't know, try Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix. That's an excellent show. It is animated, so it's not live action or anything, but Shogun, yeah, more on the political side of things, just really political, honestly. I don't know really what other way to put it, and that's not my favorite thing at all. I do not like politicking and, puppet stringing people and all that stuff, but it was a really good story, and I enjoyed it very much so. So I liked it overall. I think it was a great show. I'd hit the show overall with an 8 out of 10 with an asterisk, because I do want to go back and rewatch the whole thing, like, in a binge style, like maybe like 3 episodes in a row at a time, so I can kind of ingest it more fast and kind of piece things together. It's definitely a show you would want to watch a second time, I feel, after getting through it. because there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of stuff you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. And yeah, but definitely recommended. I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea. I wouldn't say it's like you have to see it. I don't think it's must watch, but it is very, very good. So I'll see. Maybe I'll come back to it and talk about it again after a rewatch. I want to watch it with my wife now that it's done, but I really enjoyed it. Shogun was dope. And then I finished off Invincible, finished off season 2 finale. That show is just so dope. It's God, I love that show. Really awesome. That one I can recommend as long as you're fine with violence. Really awesome show. I don't think you're gonna have a bad time with that one. It's really, really good. It's just one of those shows, just one more episode, and I'm very excited for season 3 when it's gonna be a minute, but man, that is a dope show. Check out Invincible if you have not seen that. And I checked out, there's been a few of these little hockey documentaries popping up on Amazon Prime lately, so I watched the Saving Sakic one. It was solid. I did not know that was a thing that happened with Joe Sakic. The Rangers, basically tried to steal him away from Colorado, and Colorado had to come up with they put them in quite the pickle, and Colorado had to get themselves out of it. So a very interesting story, very easy to digest. It was only like 40 minutes, and yeah, very well done. I'm going to check out the Alexander Daig one as well. Very different kind of story. I checked out the first little bit, but I watched it to put me to sleep. So I will watch it in its entirety because it was quite good. The first 10 minutes, I was like, oh shit, this is good. But then I went to bed. So that one as well. And no movies again this week. Just don't have the time for that because there's been a good amount of video gaming going on this week. So finished off Yakuza. That was my main squeeze. Now I got into that void a little bit where you have such a big game that's been, I've been playing this game for a month. It's like part of my culture now. And then when you take that out, the game's done. You have to try and fill that void with something. So I've been playing around with a few games this week. So still playing Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch Online, Game Boy Advance. I am really digging Fire Emblem, just my kind of game, man. Grid-based strategy, RPG type thing. Story is good, and I think the story for Fire Emblem is better than Wargroove, but very similar in gameplay, and I'm just digging it, man. I'm just, watching Survivor, playing a little Fire Emblem. Oh, baby, I am very much so digging Fire Emblem. And I dived into, finally, I promised my buddies, the homie Kial, that when Diablo 4 came out on Game Pass, we're all going to play it, and then Yakuza took over my life, and apparently RuneScape took over his life, but we've come out on the other side of it, and we started up Diablo 4 finally. Now, I've been hearing all the rumblings around Diablo 4 and the shenanigans. I'm just trying to not worry about that. Hopped on last night with the homies. I played an hour of the prologue, get me started, and then hopped on with the homies. I'm a druid. I'm a werebear. I turn into this big bear, and I just attack bitches. It's fun, man. Immediately, I got, right back into the Diablo 3 days. Me and the homie Jesse played the fuck out of Diablo 3, and then my homie Jesse, he hopped on to some Diablo 4 with us, and yeah, the three of us were running around playing some Diablo, man. It's a good time. I was having a lot of fun. It's very similar to Diablo 3 as far as, I haven't played Diablo 3 in a minute, but it feels very similar. There's some things that are different, the dodging is the only thing me and Jesse have noticed that is different. It looks good. The opening cutscene, oh my god. That Lilith, oh man, she is badass. I cannot wait to meet her. But yeah, it's a fun dungeon crawler, looter, not a looter shooter, but you're grabbing loot with the homies. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. It looks like we're going to put some time into Diablo, and now they got the season thing going on, but we're just working our way through the campaign, of course, because we haven't done that. But yeah, so far so good. We played about, 3 hours or so, and maybe we'll jump on tonight. But yeah, Diablo 4, really good so far. I'm really digging that. And then I needed something for in between. When, the homies aren't on and we all aren't playing, I need something. So I'm plucking away at a little Yakuza Like a Dragon, still finishing up a little side stuff, playing some mini games. And then I dived into Rayman Legends. So this game, I played it a few years ago with my wife, actually, co-op, and we both loved it. Like, I was especially blown away. I was like, wow, this game is so under the radar. It is one of the best platformers I have ever played. But eventually we fell off it, and then now I haven't played it in years, but I always think about it. I'm like, man, that game was good. I'm going to go back and finish it one day, and I guess now's the time. I dived into it, and oh, God, that game is good. So freaking good and charming, and excellent controls. The graphics are amazing, and yeah, I am just loving Rayman Legends. It's so freaking fun collecting the little, I don't know, you get these like little little creatures you collect, and like, oh, what an awesome freaking game. If you have not played the Rayman Origins or Legends, I would just say play Legends, but it's so dirt cheap. You could probably get it for free and just play it. You can play it co-op. It's amazing co-op. My wife and I really loved it. But right now I'm just plowing through it solo and loving it so far. I was just playing it and it was a lot of fun. And I picked up a game this week. It's a big one. It's a big one from last year that maybe fell through the cracks for some people, and it didn't get as much love. That probably would have gotten a lot more love in different years, but that game is Final Fantasy 16. I bought that bitch up. The DLC dropped recently, and it was on sale. The base game, I got it for $50, and I was like, I'm down with that. I really wanted Final Fantasy is one of the, if not the top one from last year that I really wanted to get my hands on. And I've seen it on sale a few times, didn't pull the trigger, and this time I couldn't resist, so I haven't dived into it just yet. I was going to, but I was like, I gotta give Diablo some time to cook, and let that build in a little bit before I dive into the meaty Final Fantasy 16. But the things I've heard about this game, it's a more mature Final Fantasy. It just sounds so up my alley, and I cannot wait to dive into that one. Maybe next week I get to talk about it a little bit, but so far I haven't dived into it. But if you're looking for Final Fantasy, it's on sale right now on PlayStation Store. It's half off, 50% off. It's a good deal. I bought it, so yeah, it's probably a good deal. And I think that's everything that I've been playing. So again, let me know what y'all have been up to. A good recommendation can go a long way. So that's it. Let's dive into Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. I love this game. Okay, hands up. Who was dancing to that music? Because come on, that shit was slapping, absolutely slapping. And as I so eloquently put it in the intro, this is more of the RPG style, very much like a Yakuza game, but with the RPG spin. The Yakuza 1 through 6 plus Yakuza 0, those were all, as far as I know, I've only actually played Yakuza Kiwami, but they're more of the, oh my goodness, am I forgetting the word yet again, a beat 'em up. They're more of a beat 'em up game, but an open world style. You got this city that you're in, and this one very much similar to that, but it's the gameplay. That's where the big difference is, and we'll get into all of that, but let's introduce you to this game. Let's introduce you to who you are and a little touch on how the story is. No spoilers throughout this review, of course, but so like I said, this is an action RPG in the Yakuza world. And you are playing as Kasuga Ichiban. No more Kiryu from the original Yakuza series. Now you are Kasuga Ichiban. And this dude, oh my goodness, he has some outrageous hair. You probably have seen it on the cover of the game. He's just got this like Super Saiyan looking Vegeta style hairdo. It's awesome. It looks great. He doesn't mean to have that hair, but anyway, it's just all part of the wacky, ridiculous, over-the-top humor that is in these Yakuza games. Very much so well known for their over-the-top wacky humor in these games. And Kazuga fits into it much more. He is way more silly, doesn't take things very seriously, but he also is very, very passionate at the same time. So you start this game in the younger days of Kazuga, and you end up, you don't have a very good childhood. You were born in a strip club basically, and you were raised by the owners of the strip club. So, but you did a pretty decent job. You grow up, but you do fall into some bad crowds. You get into some trouble, but you end up joining a Yakuza group. Lower on the totem pole, there's like levels to Yakuza groups. You're on the lower end of it, but you're in the Yakuza now. But eventually you end up taking the fall for a crime you didn't commit, and you go to prison for 18 years. So you fast forward to you coming out of prison, and you're just looking for your Yakuza homies, and you find them, and they end up betraying you. They shoot you for dead, potentially, and bam, they pretend they don't know you, and they leave you for dead, homeless on the streets. And yeah, you wake up, someone saves you, a potential friend, and yeah, you are homeless now, and you have to build your way back up, trying to figure out what the hell, why did I just get betrayed? Did I not just take the fall for you guys? Like, what the heck is going on? And I must say, the intro to this game, the opening, very awesome. I was hook, line, and sinker for this game when it got into it. The opening is fantastic, and yeah, so that's your basic intro to this game. Pretty juicy, right? I mean, a huge betrayal, getting in a totally different vibe from the first Yakuza. Like, there is betrayal, but you are homeless now. You have absolutely nothing. You have nothing to your name. And in the other ones, you got money. You're a successful Yakuza. You're doing well. And in this game, very much a different story. So you're working your way literally from the gutter and trying to work your way back up in society. Really awesome. So we touched on Ichiban. More things about him. He kind of sees the world as an RPG. So he's a huge fan of Dragon Quest, a very, very popular RPG series in Japan. That's where this game takes place. You're playing, I think it's Kenichiro, I think that's what the city is called. It doesn't really matter. It's dope. We'll get to that in a moment, the world that you're in and the graphics and all that stuff. But Ichiban kind of sees the world as an RPG, and when you get into combat, normal dudes will just turn into more intimidating. It's fantastic. It's a really good little touch. I wish they played with it a little bit more throughout the game and kind of broke down that third wall, but that was really cool. That was dope. So a guy you get introduced to early in the game, this guy is called Arakawa. And Arakawa, he's the leader of the Yakuza group that ends up betraying you. But man, this guy, he comes on, he is so fucking cool, man, out of the gate, such a badass, and yeah, he ends up betraying you, and you're like, what the fucking fuck? But I just gotta say, man, Arakawa, this dude is awesome. Very charismatic and just confident, and yeah, I dig this guy. And you get just a little taste of him at the beginning of the game, and then so much mystery and questions surrounded around that guy. So we touched on the graphics. Let's go there now. So very similar world to the Yakuza game that I played, Kiwami. It's definitely bigger, and it looks a lot better now. Now we're in 4K, we're upgraded here, and yeah, things look pretty damn nice, especially the world. Really like the town that you're in, the districts with, it's just, that Japanese look with all the neon signs, and yeah, the lighting especially has gotten a noticeable upgrade on PS5 now. The lights are reflecting off of the water on the ground and stuff. It's really impressive. It looks really good, and off of the hop, it's really showing off what it can do graphically. Now, this game definitely uses levels of graphical power, so you have your more cutscene, your bigger story type graphics, which are very nice looking, very good, I would say great looking cutscenes. And then you have like your mid-tier stuff where it's kind of not quite in engine, but a little bit better, but not quite as crisp as those like top tier cutscenes. And then you have the in-game engine stuff where it's, just talking to NPCs, maybe talking to party members, the stuff that's not that important. So it goes on levels. The lower, like the regular engine, I think it looks good. It's not blowing me away. Like the character models aren't incredible. They're good. It's a good looking game. Like I cannot say that it's bad looking, but it has levels of, I'm not going to call it inconsistency, but it just looks better in some places and looks a lot better in certain areas. So yeah, the graphics can be a little bit inconsistent, but it never got bad. Performance was excellent. I had no frame rate problems, no crashes, ran like butter. Now, this is an older game, of course, came out a few years ago. I think 2019, 2020 is when they got started with this franchise, and now they're on their third freaking game. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind, but very excited to get into more of these games, of course. But now you're in a much bigger city to explore. Very similar, though, to the first Yakuza game that I played. Tons of stores, restaurants, and shops, weapon shops, just a whole bunch of places. Pawn shops, and then, of course, you got, like, the game zones and stuff. There's casinos, there's fucking, oh my god, there are so many places. You can go play darts, you can go to the movies. Yeah, there's just a ton of places, lots of districts to visit. Most of them are pretty similar. Like the big town is kind of broken up to like 12 or so sections. They have a Chinatown section though, which really pops out, obviously. It's a completely different vibe. It's got the Chinese architecture, red, and the lanterns. It's definitely got that theme going on. I really, really enjoy that area. But the rest of it, very nice. There's a couple of spots like in the middle of the world. It's like there's like a, what do you call it, subway station, and kind of like not really a highway, but like a road. It's pretty bare there. There's not a lot going on, and when I would run through those areas, it's just like running. It basically feels like you're just running on a highway. Like it's just road and cars and nothing else going on. Just the street basically. So that area is a little bit dull, but yeah, they do a pretty damn good job, man. Like it's a very lively town. There's fucking people everywhere. That is one of my big complaints with this game. My goodness, you bumping into everything. I think maybe they're trying to get that feel of what it's like in actual Japan. I don't really know because I haven't been there. I would love to go to Japan, but it's tight. It feels like it's tight, and it feels tight in this game. Holy fuck. Everything can be bumped into. Like you'll run into walls, you'll run into poles, to signs, people, forget about it. Like you run into so many people, your own party members. Like at first it's just you're just Ichiban, and then you will start to meet people along the way, and you start to build up your party, and you'll get up to 4 people that you're running around with, and my god, they're like programmed to run the fuck into you. So that's a big nuisance. You're just constantly running into stuff all the time, which is it annoying? Sure, it's definitely just like not smooth. You're just like, it's almost a mini game in itself, just weaving through the crowds of people. But it's a lively city. Like people are doing shit, they're having conversations. You could talk to people on the streets. There's fucking people passed out on the roads, and of course there are enemies scattered all over the freaking place. Very similar to how it was in the other Yakuza games. You'll just be running around, and there'll be a group of ruffians, if you will, and they'll fight you if you get close to them. So that's basically your random battles. Yes, you can avoid them. You're like, I can take the long way around. I'm gonna go around the block and avoid that fight, or you can just go head on and fight them. It may sound like the fighting is not good. We'll get there, of course, when we start talking about the gameplay. But yeah, it's a lively city with stuff going on. There's cars. You can get hit by the cars. It took me a minute to find out if I could. And then I very much so found out that yes, you can in fact get nailed by the cars, and they will do damage to you and your enemies. You can have a battle going on in the middle of the streets, and a car will go by and just wham, just run over a bitch. You're like, well, that was awesome. But yeah, the towns look great. The character models, like I said, a little bit inconsistent. So when you get to like the in-game engine kind of conversations and people are talking, you get some crazy-eyed people going on, and not really to the level of like Mass Effect Andromeda, like the really bad looking faces, like their facial animations are just fact. These ones, they're just like, their eyes get very wide and they get very crazy looks on their face. So the facial animations aren't the best, but they're not bad. It's just, again, I'm not a graphics hound. I just got to point this stuff out for the people that it does bother. But I found it very funny early on. Like, I was just like, oh shit, Kazaga's got the crazy eye going. He's giving people the look, and he's just having a normal conversation. But yeah, the character models aren't the best. I think where it shines graphically is the world that you're in. I think I can't really call it the vistas, but the background, the shit that's going on around you is the best looking stuff. And the cutscenes, the really top tier cutscenes look good. So that's pretty much all with the graphics. Let's get to the gameplay. Let's get to the good stuff. What the fuck is the big difference between this game, the Like a Dragon series, and the Yakuza, just the regular ones? Obviously, it's a beat 'em up, and now you're in an RPG system. So this is an active turn-based battle system with 1 to 4 party members. Active turn-based means like your people are moving around. It's still turn-based. It's not like there's a timer going down. Like if it's your turn, you could just hang out on your turn. You can take your time. It's just people are going to be moving around. And there will be a lot of talking, a lot of chirping and bad-mouthing with each other and stuff like that. It gets very repetitive. But with the combat, you get like... as you move on, you'll start to unlock class systems and stuff like that, which are very cool. But before we get to that, the combat, it's like a timed button pressing and button mashing, not to the level of like kind of like Paper Mario in a way. So we'll just use Kazuga. He'll use like, and the the fun thing with the classes, they're very interesting. Well, again, we'll get there. So we'll say Kazuga's normal class is like a hero. So he'll fucking appear as this hero. It's fantastic. But he's using like a fucking 2x4. So you swing the 2x4 and the triangle button on PlayStation will come up and you have to time it. And if you time it, you get extra damage. If you don't do as much damage. And then the other one is just you mash the square button. And if you hit it enough times, you'll get bonus damage. And if you don't, not quite as much damage. So it keeps you active. It keeps you going. So you're not just sitting there. But then as you level up your classes, you start to unlock big moves and more special attacks. And those ones are like more over the top, can be very funny. There's like, so we'll just talk about the classes now. We'll get it out of the way. You can pick a class. Everyone has classes that they can pick. And as you progress throughout the game and you can like bond with your party members, you can like hang out with them. If you take them out for meals, you go play darts with them, you take them to a movie, stuff like that, you'll increase their bond. And the more their bond increases, you'll have like these one-on-one conversations, almost like a little side story with your party members, which I love. And then as you level that up, they can unlock more classes. So the classes are dope. This is where the game really starts to show its humorous side and its difference between the regular Yakuza games. They're more serious in tone, those ones. This one, very much so over-the-top funny. So your classes include such jobs as you got a chef, you got musician, you got like the battle chef, he's using fucking spatulas as weapons. You got the musician, and of course he's singing songs, hitting people with guitars. You get a homeless guy, and he'll just like sleep on the ground. He'll use his disgusting smelling breath to do like, debuffing damage, stuff like that. You have more like regular, more badass style classes, of course. You get the hero, which is Kazuga's special class, and he can use like a special fucking baseball bat with nails in it and shit like that. Very creative. I love the creativeness of the classes. You have things like the hitman. That's like a later class, like a dude later in the game, and he just has a gun. And, you know, in Japanese culture, nothing like our American friends down south. Like, guns are not very common, so for someone to just pull out a gun, it's like, whoa, that's, like, very intense. So there's a hitman class. The females have, like, you know, a little bit on the, you know, misogynistic side, I guess. They're, like, dancers and, like greeters and shit like that. You know, their classes aren't very feminine friendly, I would say. One of them is just like, what do you call them? They wear like the leather and the dominatrix. There's like a dominatrix class and shit like that. I don't know, like maybe that doesn't hit right with the female crowd. You can let me know if there's any females listening out there. I'm married, so just leave me alone. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But one of my favorite classes, I love this class. It's like a breakdancer. And to watch some of your party members be a breakdancer is hilarious. It is very funny. And it's probably my favorite class just all around. Like, not only is it funny, it's a really good class. Like, with the special moves, you'll have moves that can do, like, area damage. You have moves that can attack everybody at once. You have debuffs, you have buffs, you have healing, you have stuff like that, of course. And those attacks are very over-the-top funny. So I'll go back to Kazuga, because I use the Battle Chef one for him a lot for some reason. I like the chef. And one of his funnier attacks is he'll pull out this giant pepper grinder, smack a bitch upside the head with it, and then pour or shake pepper on their face, and it'll lower their accuracy. The breakdancer, he'll just, go breakdancing like crazy, spinning around, kicking people in the face, and he'll just go on a big tornado spree. It's so freaking good. The dominatrix class, she'll like pull out, her fucking dominatrix weapon and smack you on the ass, and then it'll brainwash you, and then they'll attack like their own friends and stuff. Like, it's really fun. You can do, you got bleeding damage, you can like cut people up, all that kind of stuff. It's very RPG, but like in a way I've never experienced it. Like, I can't say I've ever been a breakdancing. I've had like a breakdancer and a battle chef and a homeless guy in my party. Like, I was smitten with this. I didn't know anything about this series. I just wanted to go in blind. I'm over the moon with this class stuff. It's really, really cool. And you can change them up. There's like a place you can go to. It's called BetterHelp. No, not BetterHelp. That's that stupid fuck. See, this is what happens, y'all. Fucking so many freaking advertisements and podcasts these days. That fucking shit is getting in my head. But it's a place you can go to. It's like a DMV, basically. It's hilarious. And you can go in there and change your class whenever you want to. It's like, all right, I'm done with the battle chef. I want to go do this. I want to be a breakdancer now. There's even, if you have all your group members can be musicians. And if you have all musicians, there's like a move that, the more musicians you have, the more powerful it is. And you can play around with that kind of stuff. Like, oh my god, I was changing classes like crazy at the beginning, and you're unlocking moves, like tons of moves. You get tons of moves that you're unlocking, and you get to keep some of the moves from previous classes, so you can just really build up a really good arsenal of moves, like healing. I made sure a lot of my people had a healing move. It was great. I was fucking really, really impressed with that. Super fun. Now, not everybody can be every class. I think Kazuga can unlock everything. He can be everything plus his own special classes, I think. There might be a few that he can't do, but yeah, it's dope. And you level that up. It takes forever to max out the level on those classes. So, pick one and, stick with it. Find the one that you like. And, like I said, I like the Battle Chef. The Breakdancer was excellent. Hitman was very useful. They were all really good. It's just the female ones I found were not as useful, but they're all pretty good. The classes, a lot of fun. A lot of fun to play around with, and so many ridiculous, funny moves. You can, not only that, you'll, do side quests, and you have this thing called pound mates. and it's basically call a friend. You literally will call a friend, and Kazuga, super over the top. He'll like pull out the phone. He's like, I need to call a friend, and it's like, it's so fucking awesome. And you can unlock a bunch of these like ridiculous pound mate things. Like a cat will come in and do a bunch of scratching damage. A giant sumo wrestler will fall from the heavens and do a bunch of stun damage. Like, it's awesome, man. It is so awesome. And they're long. Like, of course the attacks are long, but you can sit there and hit the start button and skip it immediately, so you don't get worn out by that, like the old RPGs when you're watching the Final Fantasy VII Knights of the Round or whatever do their 3-minute attack. Like, nah, you can skip through all that stuff, but highly recommend you watch all of them at least once, because they're all hilarious, very funny. And back to when you're unlocking your bonds with your friends, you'll unlock these like special tag team fucking maneuvers, and oh my god, there is one in particular that made me laugh every single time, and it's like, I think it's the first one you unlock, honestly, and it's just a tag team move that involves all your party members. And at the end of it, Kazuga, with the Waterboy dropkick, he's just like, you're done now, and just, it kills me every single time. Like, just, you're done now, like, it's over, so done. It broke me every single time. I'm very much so, yeah, I am smitten with this combat. It can get repetitive, though, I will admit. Like I said, when you're running around town and shit, there are groups of baddies around, like, every corner. You rarely go a minute without running into some group of baddies. Like I said, you can go around them, and eventually, I don't remember how I unlocked it, but you can unlock this amulet that'll just eliminate all the enemies on the outside. They'll be gone. You don't have to deal with anybody. And you can unlock that much earlier than you did in the first Yakuza game that I played. I was like, fuck, where was this the whole time? Like, oh my god. So with most RPGs, yes, the combat can get repetitive. You're doing it a bunch, but with the mix up, when you can change the classes up a whole bunch, I didn't get bored until I had to like lock into my class because I was trying to get the trophy to maxing out 7 classes or whatever. So I got locked in with my people, started doing the same moves over and over again, and just started skipping stuff. So yes, it can get repetitive at points, but there is so much other shit to do in Yakuza. It's very hard to get bored in this game. So I think that's basically, everything that I wanted to talk about with the combat. And of course, you get equipment and all that stuff. You can find your weapons, and the weapons are ridiculous. You get frying pans and whips, fucking batons. I don't know. There's just like a whole bunch of crazy fucking weapons that you're using. You can unlock armor, and there's a workshop that you can go to, and you'll be getting materials, plastics and metals, and you can create your own weapons and upgrade them. It's cheaper ish. I don't know. Some of that shit was really, really expensive. That girl wants a lot of money for her stuff, but it is good stuff, and you can upgrade her shop, which again costs a shitload of money. And at the beginning of the game, like, money is so scarce. Oh my goodness. Like, I was so intimidated at the beginning of the game. Like, I had like, maybe a few thousand yen, like not much money at all. And she was like, yeah, I need like $3 million for this. I'm like, God. What? Oh my god. I was like, when am I going to pay for that? But by the end of the game, I had like millions of yen just hanging around. Wasn't worried about it. But yes, at the beginning, you are very much so broke and homeless. So it's pretty well known that there's a lot of side stuff to do in the Yakuza games. That's kind of its bread and butter. But the main questline stuff is really good. The story, it starts out on fire. The beginning of the story is so interesting, so cool. It goes through its lulls. There's a little bit of stuff that, like, it's interesting, but they drag it out. Some of the cutscenes get, like, there's a lot of talking and a lot of, so he's doing this, and like they're explaining it to you in a way that a conversation wouldn't go to. It's a very much so video game person explaining it to you, the player. So it can get a little long-winded, like I'm being right now, but just throwing that one out there. So the cutscenes can get a little dragged out, and the story can get a little just slow at times. The pacing can get a little dragged out, like I said, but it picks up. There's like peaks that you're just like, oh, there are so many twists in the story, I must say. A lot of good twists. But the stuff on the side, oh my god, where do we even start with the side shit? Let's talk about some of the mini games. Oh, the mini games. Batting cages, go to the batting cage. Love the batting cage. Good challenges. You got the home run challenges. Got golfing, go play some golf. All these mini games as well. Like, the story, of course, is single player, but in the menu, you can grab a friend and just play the mini games if you want to. You want to play some Yakuza golf, go to the batting cages. Go-karts? Huh? Go-karting, anyone? Yes, there is go-karting in this game. So, now I will say, I think I preferred the slot car racing in the first Yakuza game. Like, you're not actively doing the racing, but you're building up these little cars and there's all these little parts. It was very, it was definitely grindy and not for everyone. Go-karting is for everybody. Everyone can get into the go-karting. It's fun. It's just not as in-depth as the slot car. And there is no slot car at all in this Yakuza game, which makes me sad, but the go-karts are freaking dope. You can do, oh man, there's so much shit. They have this movie theater now that you can do. You go to the movie, you can take a friend if you want, and then it's like a battle to stay awake, and you got these fucking sheep that keep popping up and they're trying to make you fall asleep, and you got to hit the buttons, like the face buttons, the arrows in the right directions. It's fun. Like, it's a cool little side mini game. It's very silly. One of the silliest things in the game, I must say. There's like roosters that you don't hit the roosters because they try to keep you awake. It's ridiculous. You got like the Japanese games that I'm not really good at all, like shogi and Mangyong or something like that. I didn't even try to play those games because I don't know how. But they have casinos where you can play blackjack, poker. They got literally they have arcades all over the place, and you could just play like Virtua Fighter 2, the real Virtua Fighter 2 that I grew up on. Like, I sat there and played that in Yakuza, and I was just blown away for a minute there. I was like, yo, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I used to play this game on a Sega Saturn, a very expensive console back in the day to play this game on, and now I'm playing it within a game on a... It's just like, I had a moment right there, and I was playing Virtua Fighter 2, and the funniest thing about that is I still can't beat that girl, that Pi, I think her name is. I still can't beat her in that game. Like, she fucking destroyed my ass. I was like, all right, I'm done with that. But they have other like real games in the arcade to play. They're not like the greatest, but they do have Virtua Fighter 2. They have Virtua Fighter 5. They got like old arcade games there from the 80s that Capcom had. And they have the fucking Claw game. Oh, I love the Claw game. Classic Claw game, you get the fucking prize. Like, oh yeah, bro, I got into that shit. It's so fucking good. God, there's so many side things to get into. Restaurants to go to. You can go to the cabaret club with the boys. Get some pretty ladies to pretend they like you. It's, yeah, bro. And then you get this part-time hero thing. Oh man, this is a lot of fun. So these are just like little fucking challenges basically that they'll throw at you. And part-time hero, it's like like you can level it up, and you're getting money on the side. So it'll be really silly things like, this guy's he needs 2 fucking tuna sandwiches and 2 plastic bottles, and like there's certain places to go to find these items, and you're collecting these really weird things, and you're coming back to there's like little areas you can fucking what do you call it, like call in, I don't know, fucking tell them that I finished my quest, and they'll give you money and prizes, and it's really fun. I got super addicted to that. I'm just like, I gotta go find tomatoes and potatoes and get 3 of these, and I need to get these bento boxes. And there's like the one that was really fun, like this dude loses his cats, and then there's just cats spread out throughout the whole entire city, and you'll just be listening for the little meows, and you're like, oh my god, there's a cat somewhere, and you go and find it. They have these statues that are hidden around that you have to find them, take a picture, and shit, dude, like that was fun. And there's like 3 tiers of challenges. They have like basically collectathon stuff. They have like fighting challenges. You'll go around to certain areas and help a person out. You become a part-time hero, like a person's pound mate, basically, and you come save them from a bind, kick some ass, and what's the other one that they have? Just like general challenges, like around the world stuff, like, oh, you talked to 50 people, you ate at a restaurant 5 times, that kind of shit. So everything that you're doing is leading to something. It's always, you're constantly getting rewarded. It is excellent there, and it's just so much shit to do. You would get you're always addicted to something. You're like, oh, I'm addicted to the crane game. I'm addicted to the story right now. I'm addicted to doing the side quests. I'm addicted to like, it's just constant. It's just, and then oh my god. And then, for me, this was just over the top. I was just like, you're gonna put a fucking business manager in this game as well? I was just like, I love this game. So, later on in the game, eventually you get, like, an opportunity to start running your own business and become a CEO. And you start from the bottom, and you have to work your way up from the bottom ranking company to the number 1 company in the entire city. And oh my god, did I ever get addicted. For about a weekend there, all I did was this business management thing. It is so up my alley, so much fun. And you're hiring people, you're leveling them up, you're training them, you're making sure that they fit the business style and you're buying up these businesses. Like, okay, you're buying a strip club and you're like, all right, I need someone that's very charming, and to make sure you're hiring the right people. You're upgrading the businesses, making sure you're getting the profits and shit like that. And then at the end of the period, you have to go have a boss fight with your shareholders. I'm like, what? This is so cool. So the people that you hire, they also have certain like social skills that can take on these shareholders. And you have to make, it's a little I will say it was very confusing at first. I had no idea what the hell any of that shit meant. They didn't explain it very well. But basically, you have to like match up their styles to it's almost like a rock, paper, scissors thing. But once you get it, it's really fun and satisfying. You're just like, you got all these really angry people. Depends on how good you do. Like if your company's doing well and you're making good profits, then they won't be as mad. But you always have to like calm them down. And the better your squad is, the easier it is to shut them down. And the better you do in these shareholder meetings, you get big bonuses. So this is where you start to make money. Oh man, try to get into, if you're struggling for money, get into the business manager, because every shareholder meeting, you get a bonus, and the bonuses increase each period. So, and it leads all the way up to each period, you're getting 3 million yen per period, per shareholder meeting. So, that's a lot of money, so you get access to that. It takes a while, of course, to rank up your company. It's a grind, but I love that kind of shit. So that was just like S-tier side mini game thing for Yakuza. I was like, this is one of my favorite things fucking ever. I was so in love with it. Loved the side management thing. Too good. Too freaking good. What else do they have? They have side stories. They'll just be like, kind of like speech bubbles around, and you go over there and it'll be like just random fucking stories, man. Really random shit. Like there's like this sick girl, and there's like a tree outside her window with a persimmon fruit on it, and like the parents are worried if that fruit falls, she'll die, so you have to like keep defending the tree in like increasingly silly scenarios. Like one sumo wrestler just shows up and he starts just running into the tree. You're like, fucking stop, what are you doing? You gotta fight him. And it's just like, what the fuck is going? There's so many weird freaking stories, man. Like there's a naked guy, he comes out of a spa, and he forgot his clothes, and he's just covered in bubbles, and you gotta help him get clothes. And oh my god, man, it's just fucking endless, like around every corner. And they like continue as well. It's not just like their stories progress. Like it's like, all right, I met this person, you're like, oh okay, they're weird, and then you'll meet them like around the corner another time. You're like, oh hey, it's that guy, what's he up to now? It's like, oh shit, he's in trouble. And it's like, oh, I did like all of those too. I love the little side stories. They were really, really fun. Some of them are really heartwarming, like have really touching sentimental value. Like, oh my god, man, this game's got fucking everything. it also has a battle arena. So there's like three main, I think it's three. There's like three areas, three cities you can go to. Now, the main one is very big. It's like 12 districts. The other ones are like 1/3 the size, half the size, but it's another area, and one of them has a big battle arena that you can climb up, and then you're battling pretty hefty enemies, and you're getting good rewards, and it'll give you a extra challenge like beat them in 5 turns, beat them without healing, shit like that. And yeah, you're getting good rewards. You climb to the top, and yeah, you can go through it as many times as you want to grind and get levels or do whatever the fuck you want to do. What else do they got over there? Oh yes, there's you can go into the sewers as well. It's similar to it's very much like it's just a dungeon to grind in. You can go down there, and there's also this what's it called, like the Suji decks or something. So all the people that you're battling, once you get into battle mode, they'll like transform, like I said, into like weird people. They'll just transform into fucking like a clown, shit like that. And you can collect all their like profiles based in kind of like a Pokemon thing, like you're filling out the Pokedex. And you can go down into these sewers, find rare fucking Sujidex things and shit like that. I only went down a couple of times. It's very grindy. You're just kind of going through corridor after corridor, getting some loot, fighting some guys, getting some loot, rinse and repeat. So there's a few of those you can go into and grind out some stuff. Other than that, I mean, there's a ton to do. I was never bored with this game. There was always something else I wanted to do. This was a game that I really struggled to put down at like 2 hours, 3 hours. I still wanted to do stuff. I was just like, oh, there's still so much more I want to do. It's just such an incredible variety in this game. Like, it is outstanding how much weird shit you can do. Oh, also, fucking goddamn it. When you're running your company, you can have a chicken running your shop. I had a rooster running my shop, and you cannot fire the rooster. The rooster is legendary. That bitch is running that shop. I had a gorilla or some shit running one shop. Oh my god, this game is just so fucking awesome. Everything this game does is awesome. One more thing before I dive into the next section. So there's a kind of like a bar you can go to. It's called Survive. It's kind of like your hub for your party. You can go there, and that's where you can have like the one-on-one conversations with your party members. And I think it's 5 levels to max them out, but once you get to the maxed out level, you go to the bar, you go talk to them, and like I said, each one has like their own little side story going on, and it gets you you get to understand your party members on a deeper level, and it's really good. I really looked forward to it. Very similar to like Persona, how you're building your relationship with your characters, and doing that, you earn yourself a deeper understanding of that character, and it just makes everything so much better. Very, very well done. With that being said, let's dive now into the sound design of this game, because the voice acting is superb. Absolutely superb, especially Ichiban. Oh my goodness, man. This guy, like I said, very, very, very passionate. Super duper passionate. Oh my god, I have to... Hold on. One more thing about the gameplay that I didn't mention. Kazuga has like personality traits, very like charisma, intelligence, that kind of shit. There is a school you can go to and take tests. And I know it sounds silly, but oh my god, is it ever fun. I got addicted to going to that school and I took all the tests. They were super fun. And they're like real questions. It's like, and they have like there's like a math fucking tests you have to take. There's history, there's geography, they're like real tests, and they have trivia questions. It was awesome. Very expensive at first. It's 50,000 yen per test. Some of them are 100,000 yen, but they will level up your personality traits, which will unlock things. You can unlock different stories, different side quests, different people to interact with, shit like that. So have to touch on that, because damn, that school stuff. I never wanted to go to school more in my life than in Yakuza, so just had to shout that out. Back to the sound design. Ichiban. Wow, this guy's performance was spectacular. Super passionate performance, like breaking, like emotional breakdowns to fucking the highest of highs, like super funny, hilarious. Like, man, this guy absolutely crushed it. Love Kasuga. I might even say I like Kasuga more than Kiryu, because Kiryu is, like very hard shell around him. Kasuga, very open, free bird, very just loves people, just, loves to love, and that kind of guy. But man, is he awesome. I fucking love Kasuga. He's the fucking man. And the bartender at Survive, that guy is also the freaking man. He is just a badass bartender, like super just quiet and stoic, but man, does he ever hit. When he says something, you're like, what a good dude. What a fucking good dude you are. But voice acting across the board, very good. Very, very good. Everyone was good. The only thing that bothered me was the repeat phrases. Like, when you're in battle especially, like, oh my god, they say the same things over and over again. Like, give it up. Stop it. And like shit like that. And it can get a little much. This was definitely a game I was able to put a podcast into one ear and, just be having combat and doing shit like that. The management, especially, very good, easy to put a podcast into your ear. Really enjoyed that. But I didn't start putting in the earbud until later, because the music in this game is fucking awesome. Oh my goodness, this like techno-y, oh baby, like, yeah, the techno thing. Like, I'm not a big house music guy, with the beat drop and stuff like that, but when they do it right in the video game, oh my god. And the boss music, especially the boss music, that's where you get the really over the top techno fucking music, and it is awesome. Really, really enjoyed the music. Boss fights especially. Yeah, great work across the board for the sound design. Let's talk about just some of the more memorable moments that I had throughout the game without, spoiling anything too major. I walked in on this group of Yakuza, and boy, howdy, were they ever up to some weird fucking shit in that room. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. If you don't, well, just play Yakuza Like a Dragon, and you will definitely remember that moment. That was fucked up, but it did lead to a very solid pound mate to add to my arsenal. Like I mentioned, protecting the persimmon tree. There was like snipers, fucking, like, everyone was trying to take out that fucking tree. It got increasingly funnier each time I went near that damn tree. I'm like, oh god, what is going on now with the frickin' tree? Oh, there's this guy that was giving out this really spicy kimchi. Like, it was so hot, it made people just go insane. Like, they would run off, and you would run into, there was like 3 or 4 different people you would run into, and he'd be like, I wonder if this kimchi would work. And there's like literally a really old lady that's trying to cross the street, and you're like, I wonder if it'll work on her. And this old bitch, she eats that fucking kimchi, she goes flying across that street. God damn, that was some funny shit. There's so up where you do the, what do you call it, the dragon cart, that's the go-karting. It's like this big park, giant park, and you're like, I loved collecting bugs up there. Oh my god, even that simple shit, I just loved running across the fields up there collecting bugs. Like, I don't even know. I have to mention Can Quest as well. Can Quest is a side game, a little mini game. You get on a bike and you go through the streets collecting cans, but there's also other guys collecting cans. You got to avoid them or take them out and steal their cans. You're avoiding recycling trucks, and like, oh my god, dude, this game has it all. Back to the moments, though. What moment was I talking about, though? So up in that area, big park, and this guy is bringing like a zoo to town. So each time you go up to see him, he's got like this new animal that always ends up escaping, and you gotta help him get it back. And very funny. There's this fucking mad scientist that he's trying to build these like robotic sweepers, like a Roomba, but he wants to build like massive ones for the city, and he does that. You have to give him a lot of money to see it, but oh my god, it's so freaking funny. Definitely give that man 1,000,000 yen. It's worth it. Trust me, it was a fucking hilarious moment. And I will touch on the finale of the game without spoiling anything, because that was a huge falling out point for me in the first Yakuza game. The final 2 boss fights in that game were awful experiences, just massive, just ridiculous amount of health for no reason. They just made it hard for the sake of it to be really stupid hard. Did this game do a better job? Yes. Yes, it absolutely did. Now, I will say the final fight was still a little bit of a grind. Overall, the combat, not difficult. Not difficult at all. As long as you're staying up on your equipment and making sure people are leveled up, fine. Like, people were barely scratching me, man. Like, doing like 20 damage to me while I'm putting out like 800 damage on them. Like, I died one time, and that was at the beginning because I was just learning how to play the game. And you don't want to fucking die. Do not die, because you will lose half the money that you were holding. So if you're holding like millions of yen, you're going to lose half of that. So there is an ATM that you can deposit your money into. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. But there was like 2 or 3 fights that were like legitimate fights. I was like, all right, this is hard. I got to pay attention. I got to do some buffing. I got to make sure I'm on top of my healing. And I will say, without a spoiler, there are some outstanding cameos in this game. Like I said, I've only played the first Yakuza, and those cameos were fucking like some of the best ever I've ever seen. I was losing my mind when they showed up. So I was just like, fuck. So you don't have to play every Yakuza game to understand what the hell is going on. Trust me. But that final fight and a couple fights prior, a little bit of a whittle, but very hard to. They're just a grind. Like you weren't doing a lot of damage. They didn't have a lot of weaknesses that I could find, but yeah, nothing pissed me off in terms of like the combat and overly difficult for no reason. So yeah, and the finale, like the story, I love. I mean, some people may not like that ending, the way that it like kind of ended there abruptly, but I love that they brought the story like full circle, begins where it's like ends where it started. I thought that was really fucking cool. That's all I'm gonna say about it, but I like the ending. It was good. I'm very excited to continue on with the series, but it's a long game. I put in over 90 hours on this bad boy. I was playing it for a very long time. It's definitely longer than your normal Yakuza game. It's an RPG. There's a lot more to do. And yeah, you can put in a lot of, like, you don't have to put 90 hours in, but good luck not, because just doing the main quest, like just going through that, you're missing all the fun of Yakuza. The fun is all the side stuff. The story is great, but the side stuff is excellent. All the side stuff, the mini games, the side stories are fucking hilarious. You're learning with your party, interacting with your party members and learning their story. Oh my god, man, it's just endless. But yes, it is a very long game. It's but it's not hardcore or anything. I feel like it's a game that you can move away from for a week. It is very simple. Like, the combat is simple. It's really easy to just pick up and play. Like, I got into it immediately, very easy. I had no problem with it, honestly. I don't think you would have a problem. And they do a pretty good, like, I think there's I think a journal or whatever, and it can keep you up to date with what's going on in the story. It gets a little political heavy there, and like you kind of start running for president and a little sort of not president, but like mayor or something, and like whatever. But yeah, long game. I put in over 90 hours, and I'm still plucking away at it. At the end game, they have this what's it called? Millennium Tower, I think it is. And you can go through that, and it's like a very, very challenging tower. I've only started it. I just went through it, and then I realized that I didn't have a class selected, so I haven't really gone into it yet. But looking at the trophy list, everyone did very well on the trophy list, but very, very, very few people got through that Millennium Tower. So I'm curious to see how hard it really is and if I can get through it. But yeah, I am still plucking away at Yakuza. I'm done the story, and I'm still trying to max out my characteristics, so I'm like going around, finishing off some little side challenges, and like, yeah, man, there is so much to do with this game, and it feels kind of like a Grand Theft Auto. Like, if I had a game like this when I was a kid, like, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I could play it for 6 months straight and then not play it for 2 years and then come back to it and be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I get back into playing it. I feel like Yakuza's like that as well. So let's wrap it up. Let's go through quickly the cons and the pros of the game. We'll give it a score and we'll send you on your way. So things that I didn't like, the big thing for me was bumping into everything. That was just like, oh my God, man, just like get the hell out of my freaking way. But it's a lively city, so there's people fucking everywhere. Some of the cutscenes, like I said, were pretty long. Like there were some really long cutscenes. You can skip them, of course, absolutely. Like anything, pretty much everything here, you can fix that in a way, but of course you want to experience the story, and just sometimes explanations go on and on and on and on, and the combat / dialogue can get repetitive. You're hearing, especially in combat, you're hearing the same words over and over again. And the combat, there's a lot of it, but you can put an amulet on to take it away, but you want to level up, of course, so you kind of need it there. But other than that, man, there is not a lot of things I can say bad about this game. The pros of this game, it's a laundry list. I mean, the humor, the wackiness of this game is awesome. I am so smitten and charmed with everything that this game was doing, from the classes to the ridiculous characters. Just so fucking good. I love the humor of this game. The characters and the story I thought were awesome. Really, really like the characters. Story, like I said, a little bit of peaks and valleys. The highs are really like, whoa, and the twists are wild, but sometimes it takes a lot of explanation to get there, and the ending may not be for everyone. I could definitely understand if someone was like, yo, that ending was fucked. Like, that was dumb, but I dug it. It hit good for me. Voice acting and the music, absolutely superb. I loved it. The flashy, entertaining combat, I liked it. I didn't need to grind very much. It's there for you, but I didn't feel the need to, but really enjoyed the over-the-top moves. The pound mates were fucking hilarious. Mini games, oh my God, there's so many fun mini games. There wasn't one that I didn't enjoy. There was a few that I didn't bother with. Like, I didn't really bother with any of the gambling stuff, none of the Moyong, stuff like that. Didn't really do that, but all the other stuff, at one point or another, I got super addicted to it. The business manager, I got over the top addicted to. And the variety of side adventures, like there's so much different shit going on. Like, and they're wacky, they're passionate, they're emotional, they're like, there's everything. There's just, the variety in this game is outstanding. Now, to score this game, I guess as a con, I will nitpick for some people out there. The graphics can be a little inconsistent. The higher end cutscenes look real nice, and then the in-game engine is a good looking game. It's a good looking game, but it's not like, whoa, it's not blowing my mind. That's what I would say. But overall, if I'm scoring this game, hitting it with an 8.5 out of 10. But I love this game. I shit you not, like a 10 out of 10. It is right up there as my favorite game of the year so far. It is like, really, it's going to be hard to knock off. I was absolutely in love with this game. I loved every fucking minute of it. I could not be pulled away from it. Like, I wanted to do a second run into Sekiro, but every time I turned on my PlayStation, I saw Ichiban's ridiculous hair, and I'm like, I'm playing that. I'm getting in there. I can't stop. There's just so much to do. I love this game, and I can't wait to get into Ishin. I can't wait to get into Infinite Wealth, because the scores, and they just seem to get better and better, and this one was outstanding. Don't miss out on the Yakuza franchise. I can absolutely understand it's very intimidating. There are 10 games now in the franchise, but I played one in each of the style. I played one fucking brawler style and one RPG, and man, I'm feasting. Like, I have so many Yakuza games if I want to play them, but I would just say start with these two. Start with Kiwame. Start there, so then you can understand some of the stuff that they're doing in Like a Dragon. So that's where I would put it. But don't miss these games, man. They're fucking excellent. This is one of my favorite RPGs I've ever played. I love this game. Really love it. So with that being said, that is my review finally of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Don't miss that game, y'all. Let me know if you played it. Let me know if you played Ishin, if you played Infinite Wealth yet. Don't spoil anything. I'll get to them one day, but let me know. Especially if you played all of them, let me know what your favorite one was out of the trilogy of games so far. I really want to play all of them. I'm very, very excited. So, with that being said, thank you everybody so much for listening. You're awesome. In terms of what we got going on this week for the GX Plus cast, last week was Fallout 3, so don't miss that retrospective. That is a beloved game to me, and all the what do you call those updates came out, and I have downloaded Fallout 4 and New Vegas. So they're downloaded. I'm very, very tempted to dive back in. Leaning towards Vegas, I think. I just looked at my playtime on Fallout 4 on PlayStation. 350 hours, it says. I'm like, I don't recall that, but I did play the shit out of it. But okay, I think I need to go back and give Vegas more love. I've only played through it twice, and I was looking at my trophy list, and I did not do a very good job on my trophy list. I definitely did a good job on PC when I played it, but I might have to go back and play it again on PlayStation and clean up those trophies a little bit because, not looking good. I'm not satisfied with that at all. So, planning on maybe doing some of that stuff. More Fallout stuff, I think, in the near future, hopefully. Well, not near future, but in the future, hopefully, because that's one of my favorite franchises ever. So, in terms of what I'm going to do next week for the GamerCast, no idea yet. Just going to be honest, haven't thought that far ahead just yet. It was just focused on Yakuza, but NHL playoffs are going on still, so going to be talking about breaking down the playoffs in the NHL on the Hockey Cast. WrestleCast weekly recap will be incoming. More than likely dropping that on Monday, I would have to think, because at this point, I still have a lot of wrestling to catch up on. It's Saturday, and I still have SmackDown and Collision and Rampage this week are starting really late, so that might fuck me up. So I'm starting to probably going to say Monday for the WrestleCast. My apologies. I think Monday might end up just being the day. All my goal is with the WrestleCast is to get it out before Monday Night Raw. I just want to make sure if people need their recap before the show, I just want to make sure that's there for them. So as long as it's out before Monday Night Raw on Monday, I am happy. So that's my goal, and that's what I got planned right now. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, Gamer GX Videos. There's a link in the description. Great place to go over there, subscribe to the channel. I upload all the episodes there, and you can drop a comment. In the comment box, drop a question about video games, wrestling, hockey, whatever, it doesn't matter. Send in a question, I'll answer it live on the podcast, shout you out, all that good stuff. It'd be a ton of fun. I would love that, so please send in your questions. I have a Twitter page where I put up announcements as best as I can. When I know what I want to do, I let my peoples know what I have planned, and always a great spot, again, to throw out a question to me, anything like that. There's an email address there as well. If you want to have a private conversation, that is absolutely, my door is open there for you as well. But there you go, everybody. Thank you again so much for listening. Make sure you review and tell everybody about the podcast. Help the little guy out over here. And we'll be back again with some more GX Plus Cast.